I bet a big part of you have heard about the huge surge in the value of GameStop shares in the past few weeks and wondered what the hell was going on in the stock market, what a Reddit community has to do with it, how I profited from all of it, and what that means for the big fish on Wall Street. As part of the r/Wall Street Bets community and investor in GameStop, I will explain in this short video what's up with GameStop. Before we begin to dive into the actions of us retail investors and the r/Wall Street Bets community, I need to explain why we did what we did, as well as some stock market fundamentals. Us hawks on r/Wall Street Bets observed that hedge funds were selling short 140% of public GameStop shares. That led us to believe that the company is undervalued and that we could trigger a short squeeze. The first one to observe what is happening with GameStop was the legendary r/Wall Street Bets user, our king and commander-in-chief, u/deep-fucking-value. He started investing in GameStop shares back in September 2019, when the shares were worth about $4 to $5 per share. He invested about $53,000. His highest gain was at $48 million. However, he is still holding on to his shares like a true diamond-handed king and still has a value of $22 million. Another notable contributor to the whole movement is u/player896, who posted his statement on the whole situation back on the 20th September 2020, called Bankrupting Institutional Investors for Dummies, featuring GameStop. So what is shorting and what the fuck is a short squeeze? Shorting is when someone, in this case hedge funds, borrows shares from a shareholder, sells them to the market, waits for the value of the company to drop, buys the shares back, gives them to the lender, and keeps the difference. Let's say, for example, Michael is a GameStop shareholder and Melvin is a shorter. The current price of a GameStop share is $10. Melvin thinks that the value of a GameStop share will decrease in the coming quarter to $5 a share. Melvin says to Michael, "Hey Michael, can I borrow your share? I will give it back to you at the end of the quarter." Michael agrees and lends his GameStop share to Melvin for the entire quarter for $1. Immediately after Michael lent Melvin his share, Melvin sells Michael's share back to the market and gains $10. Months pass and it's time for Melvin to give Michael his GameStop share back. Melvin buys the GameStop share back from the market and gives it to Michael. But look at this. The value of one GameStop share dropped to $5, exactly as Melvin expected. Melvin only agreed to pay Michael $1, so he can pocket $4 profit from the difference of the share's value. That's shorting, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, this type of trading is deservedly controversial, since, as Elon Musk put it very eloquently on his Twitter page, you can't sell houses you don't own. You can sell cars you don't own, but you can sell stock you don't own? This is bullshit. Shorting is a scam, legal only for vestigial reasons. This was not very surprising because Elon Musk's own company, Tesla, struggled due to hedge funds shorting the Tesla stock for almost over a decade now, thus driving the Tesla stock price far below what it actually is worth. Now let's get back to Melvin and Michael. Imagine the same scenario, but instead of the share's price going down, it's going up. This time the share's price hits $20. When Melvin buys back the stock, he loses $11. Now imagine a bunch of Melvins getting nervous because the price of the stock is surging, and they buy back shares of GameStop because they want to prevent further losses. This, of course, raises the price of GameStop even more, leading to much more Melvins buying the stock back out of fear of losses, which further increases the price, and so on and so on. What happens when a bunch of Melvins are getting nervous and are buying back stocks to prevent further losses, driving the price up even higher, is called a short squeeze. Now that we know what shorting and short squeeze is, let's return back to when the hedge funds fates were sealed. Back when we noticed that 140% of GameStop's shares were sold short. It's a fact that when a stock is heavily shorted, that in itself drives the price down a lot. Remember, this is exactly what happened to Elon Musk's Tesla company when they shorted his stock. There have been multiple companies in history that were victims of hedge funds and investors shorting them to bankruptcy, thousands of jobs being lost in the process. And this time, the victim was GameStop. But the hedge funds forgot to account for a little subreddit called r/Wall Street Bets, which watched their short positions with a hawk's eye. We decided that the stock was massively undervalued due to the hedge funds shorting it, and began to buy the stock. More and more of us bought the stock and held it. The more stocks were bought and held by us, the more money the short sellers would lose as the stock price rose. Even Papa Elon came to help us out and tweeted GameStop. GOAT of the investing game, Michael Burry, also came to the support. Known from the movie The Big Short, he predicted the crash of '08. Who himself invested in GameStop prior to the squeeze happening. As you know well by now, driving the price up of a shorted stock can trigger a short squeeze, which we hoped would happen, and in my opinion, it did. The highest point of GameStop stock was $483 on the 28th January of 2021. For comparison, the highest point for the day of the 11th of January 2021 was $20. Sadly though, the 28th was also the day when the GameStop stock began its current downward trajectory. Luckily, I saw that coming and sold before it went down. I made so much profit that I not only got the money back I lost when I invested in Alibaba in 2020, but much more. The CEO of Alibaba went missing. Most likely because the Chinese Communist Party kidnapped him. And then the Alibaba share of course tanked. Only thing which made the whole trading experience a bit sour is Austria's capital gains tax, which is too fucking high. Man, fuck Austria's tax system, no cap. However, it's a really awesome feeling when you made money, while causing the same hedge funds that shared most of the responsibility for the crash of '08 to lose lots of cash. I can't overstate the impact of what happened here.
10 years after Occupy Wall Street, there's a new type of financial protest. But instead of marches in Zuccotti Park, these protesters are sounding off on social media sites.
We are seeing a phenomenon that I have never seen.
There's nothing normal about what you're seeing when it comes to this stock right now.
Right. It's like a David versus Goliath story.
We have that kind of leverage and reckless investing from hedge funds, and people see that and take advantage of that. That's what the free market is.
On January 26th, the GameStop share was the single most traded share on the stock market, bigger than all the tech giants combined. This is something for the history books. A David versus Goliath story. the little guy versus the man. Retail investors, like myself, have never before been able to congregate together and beat Wall Street investors. This will be a case study in dozens of economics classes around the globe. It's the French Revolution of finance. Never again will hedge funds be able to recklessly speculate on the market without fearing us small investors. This is huge. Melvin Capital, a hedge fund and the biggest holder of short positions in GameStop stock, had suffered a loss of 53% of its investments. Melvin's partners, Citadel LLC and Point72 Asset Management, needed to bail out Melvin by $2.75 billion in order to keep Melvin alive. The movement expanded even into other stocks that were shorted by big institutional Wall Street investors. BlackBerry, Nokia, AMC being some of the most prominent ones. By the 28th of January, hedge funds and short sellers have lost $70 billion. I mean, come on guys, I need to repeat this sentence because it's such a huge number. By the 28th of January, hedge funds and short sellers have lost $70 billion.
David, we do have now some statements from Robinhood and Interactive Brokers about restricting trading on some names. The statement out of Robinhood says, "Our mission at Robinhood is to democratize finance for all. In light of recent volatility, we are restricting transactions for certain securities to position closing only." As for Interactive Brokers, they say we've put AMC, BB, Express, GME, and COS option trading into liquidation.
On January the 28th, the commission-free trading platform Robinhood and many other similar trading platforms where one can trade without paying any commissions shut down the possibility of buying the Reddit shares, GameStop, BlackBerry, Nokia, AMC, over their platform. Sadly, exactly those platforms are the favorite platforms of small investors. The only thing they let people do was to sell those shares. This of course was the beginning of the downward trajectory of the GameStop stock and the other so-called meme stocks. But why did those commission-free trading platforms ban small investors from buying more shares of GameStop and other meme stocks? It's because of their business model. Normal trading platforms make money from the commissions you pay them for handling your market activity. Commission-free trading platforms like Robinhood make money by selling the investment data they collect from small investors to big hedge funds like Citadel or Melvin, who shorted GameStop. Now what do you think do those big hedge funds think of the whole GameStop craze? They hate it, of course, because the amount of money they can lose is basically endless. A stock can climb up in its price endlessly. On the other side, however, us small retail investors can only lose a fixed amount of money, since a stock can only drop to zero. So they of course told those commission-free trading apps to prevent the sale of meme stocks like GME. How am I so sure that the hedge funds told those apps to prevent people from buying GameStop shares? In a discussion that happened between Elon Musk and Robinhood CEO Vlad Tenev, Tenev said that he was basically pressured into limiting trading on the meme stocks like GameStop by the National Securities Clearing Corporation, but he never specified why and how this went about. And there's good reason why he never specified that. One of the most important partners of Robinhood is Citadel Securities, which is a partner of Melvin Capital and also bailed Melvin out. This means that there is a clear motivation for market manipulation for Robinhood, because without investments from hedge funds like Citadel, they couldn't continue to offer commission-free trading. That this is market manipulation should be clear to absolutely every observer. And thankfully, the SEC will, due to the pressure of us Redditors and politicians from the left and right, hold a hearing with people from Reddit, the hedge funds, and Robinhood. There is a rap bar someone wrote on Twitter that couldn't put it better. When they was Robin Hoods, they prayed to the stocks, not a hood robbing them, they tryna make the game stop. Now that was a funny rap bar, but let's get back to business. Now, was this the only attempt to prevent us small traders from engaging in the stock market? No, not by far, because we haven't even begun to talk about Wall Street's attempt to regulate the market through the power of the state. Yes, you have heard me correctly. Now, you think, wait, that can't be. They surely must be for freer markets, right? No, completely wrong. Big finance sharks and corporations actually love regulations because they are a way to keep smaller people like you and me or small businesses from participating in the larger financial world. Don't believe me? Janet Yellen, the US Treasury Secretary of the Biden administration, has been paid hundreds of thousands of dollars by Citadel, who have an interest in restricting us small investors from accessing the market. What position do you think she will take? Of course, she's already questioning if the investments that we made are good for the market and if she should regulate them. She's going to meet the top financial market regulators, and you can bet that she will restrict trading for smaller investors. That proves to me that Austrian economics that believe in the decisions of every person individually and the right to execute them are more important than ever nowadays. Once we give the state the power to make decisions for us, this not only is bad for our personal freedoms, but can also be abused by entities like hedge funds. This is why the Austrian School of Economics, which includes economists like Karl Menger, Ludwig van Mises, and Friedrich August von Hayek, is so important because it emphasizes free markets which are not so prone to manipulation through the state and offer better chances for small players in the big financial game. When those hedge funds aren't giving money to state personnel, they are influencing the media, most notably CNBC. CNBC accused the r/Wall Street Bets community of multiple things, such as manipulating the market.
Wait a minute, what you just said, target. So here's my question. How is it that they can target and that's legal, and if there was in the old days a bear raid, that was illegal? When does this become manipulation, Jim?
Do you think that they're concentrated and doing some sort of manipulation if they say they like the stock?
Well, I don't know if they're concentrated because I don't have subpoena power and I can't really go out and look at it. I could argue I don't even know if there are foreign powers at work here behind the scenes trying to make chaos up our markets.
Funny how it's okay for hedge funds to manipulate the market, but it's not okay for us to prevent them from doing their thing. The Financial Times called parts of our community alt-right. The Financial Times later had to edit their article because the public took notice that those claims were completely false and what they were doing was slander. The next move by the media giants was not to slander us anymore. No, they didn't make up any more stories about how what we are doing could crash the stock market or how we are connected to the alt-right. No made up stories from here on out. They wanted to distract us with a new investment. They spread the misinformation that Reddit users are now investing in silver. But everyone who was daily on r/Wall Street Bets could easily see that none of us was ever investing in silver in a big way. So that clearly was just a made-up lie to divert our attentions and to make us invest in silver even though nobody of us would want to in the first place. So where do we end up with all of this information now? What has happened with the GameStop shares was incredible, and I'm so proud of my fellow r/Wall Street Bets members. We made history. We have proven that everyone can partake in the market and that what each of us trades actually matters. The time where the big boys held all of the power is over. We have the internet now, where we can read up on all the same information they have for free. There have been millionaires made in the process. There have been so much of you that could pay off their student loans or pay for their surgeries or put a substantial amount of money into donations. We have united the political right and left and made Republican Ted Cruz agree with Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. Because we unified so many politicians from opposing viewpoints, there will be a hearing where most likely the absolute Jed and hero U/deep fucking value will speak out against Robinhood. We have absolute legends on our side, like Elon Musk or Chamath Palihapitiya. We have bought billboards all across the world and have even our very own Reddit-funded Super Bowl ad. There will even be a movie made about us. It didn't matter if hedge funds tried to use their own capital, the media, or the government. We still took them down while getting tons of cash and helping a struggling company in the process. And remember, the fight is still not over. At the point of writing the script, GameStop is valued at $66, which is still high up from back when nobody of us cared about the stock. Keep those diamond hands and get these tendies. Maybe I should invest again? I don't know. I'll think about it. See you guys at the next short squeeze.